Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries tonight, today, whatever it is for you. Thanks for joining me. Um, there is sort of like a, I guess you could say, like personal, political context to this story. But if you might go to my preview, the picture of Barbara dancing, and read the description there. There's sort of like an essay that I wrote pertaining to this subject with a focus on a certain community that was devastated by it. But we'll leave that there. I'll touch on my own personal thing like only a couple times because I have to because it's the context of the time and the story. Okay, 1989. So Barbara Sharma at one point in time was my bestie of friends. All I wanted to do was spend time with her. And all I did really during a short period of time, well, a relatively short period of time, was spend time with her. That's all I wanted to do was spend time with Barbara. Okay, so this is how I met Barbara Sharma. As I have met many celebrities and been friends or been friends with many celebrities over the years, truth be known. I guess you could say like kind of in a crude way, particularly appealing because I frequently didn't know anything about the celebrity. My context of my world was like, I don't know, I knew who Veronica Lake was, So, that being said, this is 1989. This is when my second partner-ish person, Johnny, was dying in my arms off and on between our apartment on Holloway near the Sunset Marquee, where I was trying to hustle some work. After I couldn't wait tables anymore during my marriage, I worked 3 different restaurants, doesn't matter. So this is the context, our apartment, he's dying, and I can't work. I'm not gonna go to the Sunset Marquee up the block and be a doorman or room service, no matter how fancy it is. So I decide that I have to be a drag queen, so a female impersonator. So there's all kinds of context there. I've done a kind of a piece of a show on that whole audition and whatever. So this was the context. I needed to do this. I thought, well, I can do this, right? You know how you think that in your life and you're like, what the F was I thinking? I am sure that has happened to all of us. So I'm in an acting class. My steady acting teacher, but I took seminars frequently with Joan Darling, who's my acting mentor and teacher. But I had another teacher. I told that teacher, or asked, who can I ask that knows a choreographer? Because I need to do a little routine, because what's required at the Queen Mary, which is an institution, or was, on Ventura Boulevard in Studio City since 1960, was a drag club. Kind of imagine like where bachelorettes go for like 100 years to get drunk and watch drag queens. But there was a heavy scene going down there that I knew about. But this was the part where I wanted to get money and not work the back room. We won't go there. So let's really not go there. I think I did. Anyway, so I set up this audition, it goes through, whatever. But the thing is, I get in touch with the acting teacher's referral, who's also a student, lovely young lady. And I said, do you know any choreographers that can put together or help me throw together a routine for an audition? I have to do a girl, whatever. Acting class, anything goes. So she refers me to Barbara Sharma. Barbara Sharma's working actress at this time, but Barbara Sharma's not like some ritzy-titsy actress like she should have been, based and well-founded in her history within the entertainment industry across the board. And again, Google Barbara Sharma. I encourage you to Google Barbara Sharma because it would take up too much time for me to explain too much context on her. Anyway, so I'm put through to Barbara Sharma. Barbara Sharma has an apartment in Los Feliz. Los Feliz is a famous area, Google it, in Los Angeles. And it's a little apartment on the 2nd floor tucked in the back of sort of a post-war apartment, 4-plex, 6-plex, whatever it was. Very small. And I went there, and long story short on the routine, I fell in love with her the minute I walked in the door. And again, I only know this as literally, you guys, as a lady that I was referred to choreograph this Anne Margaret routine to a song called Lovey Joe, which was actually made famous by George Burns in Las Vegas and appropriated by Anne Margaret, who I did a show on auditioning for Anne Margaret. So we do this routine, you guys, oh my God, it was the greatest routine with the whole kind of like doing the boyfriend, like boop, with the ball, with like invisible ball, like oop, and pointing, like at a ring when speaking uh, whatever marriage relationship. All those little nuances that Barbara knew, because Barbara Sharma was Bob Fosse's lead dancer on Broadway. Okay, now that doesn't mean like prima ballerina in dancing. It means a dancer who can lead, who can be lead dancer in any part of the musical or the routine. It doesn't mean you're prima ballerina, right? You can do lead dance. There you go. I mean, I'm not a dancer, but I used to want to be one. Stanley Holden Ballet on Pico Boulevard in Westwood, anyway, West Los Angeles by 20th Century Fox. Anyway, I really did 2 years ballet. So, of course, the only dude in the class. But so we do this fabulous routine, but I'm falling in love with her. I'm like, because we're doing, like, I'm paying her and whatever to do this, and I'm going as often as I can. I don't really have to go like, 4 times a week or whatever. I'm like stretching this out as long as I can, right? I got her down, basically. I could have done a kind of a ramshackle job of it, but I didn't. I wanted like Barbara. So let's get that out of the way, the audition, whatever. They literally set my track on double time by accident, so I did Barbara's whole routine. And I had to do it at 2/3 time. So imagine that. You practice this routine with Barbara Sharma for weeks on end, and I walk into the club, I have to do it 2/3 time. No, I have to do it, yeah, 2/3, yeah, yeah. So in other words, it's not 3/4 time. I have to do it a little bit too fast, but not chipmunky. So anyway, the whole audition, peg that, whatever. Drag queen tell me, oh, you're too good for this place. The guy wants me to do Joan Rivers. I don't want to do Joan Rivers. I want to do Carol Burnett. Long story. So I have now this newfound relationship with Barbara Sharma because she's very personable